You're watching The Line Makers exclusively on SportingNews.com, presented by Jack Daniels.
Really interesting game to get you ready for. It's the Redskins at the Giants, NFC East showdown. Brian Blessing with Rick Herron, Kenny White. Giants 6.5-point favorites, guys. Total on the game is 50. Kenny, let's just start with the number on at 6.5. Does it get to the key number of 7, or does the betting public say, well, maybe there's a little letdown spot for the Giants?
I think the general public will definitely look at the letdown, also a divisional game. So there were some 7s out, and then they disappeared, went back to 6.5. So the wise guys definitely want to take the 7. I think the public will be interested in laying the 6.5, right?
Well, I agree with that. Absolutely. The public's going to lay the 6.5. And Brian, you said a letdown spot for the Giants. I mean, 27-3 against the 49ers. You're figuring coming home against the Redskins, probably a letdown spot. But remember one thing. This is a team that beat the Giants twice last year. Redskins beat them both times. They swept them last year. So I'm not so sure there's going to be that letdown for Tom Coughlin and the Giants, although they have been a better road team under Coughlin than they have been a home team.
Let's focus on the total for a moment, because at the start of the season, and in other videos, we've talked about various angles we've been following over the course of time that have been very successful. It's just weird, Kenny, how you found this one, and ever since we've been following it, at home, if it's not a division game, Tom Coughlin and the Giants are a dead over team. I mean, even Cleveland walked in there and was scoring a boatload of points. But when it's a division game, it's a completely different animal, played much closer to the vest. We're talking a total of 50 here.
And that total is based on the Washington Redskins being 5-1 to the over so far this year. But you're right, looking at Coughlin, the last 5 years in the division, at home he's 10-7 to the under. Not huge numbers, but Shanahan helps out. He's 5-1 under on the road in the last 2 years since he's been coaching the Redskins.
This is a really similar spot to last year. The Giants came off that big win over the Cowboys, came home, and the Redskins just pounded them. I mean, the Redskins, they beat them twice. It wasn't close. They beat them 28-14. They beat them 23-10. So I'm siding with you guys. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Give me +7. Maybe there's a little value there. But both games last year, they scored 42 and 33 in the 2 meetings last year. So
this is as good a spot as any to bring this up. When you're handicapping, you try to find, any hook and whatever works for you. Last week, the Seattle-New England game, Seattle was 5-0 to the under. And I'm going, you know what? I've got a weird feeling. It was a feel thing more than anything. Look for points, look for them to go over. Because, Kenny, let me ask you, you dealt with the sports books making the opening number. No one wants a team to be, at the end of the year, 14-2 to the over, the under, or against the spread. They want them to be 8-8. So, here we're talking about the Redskins being a dead over team. They're going to want to balance those books. At what point do you look at something like that, knowing that it's a skewed number with a team?
Well, I'm not looking at that direction, but I know what you're getting at with that. I'm making a number, and then I'm comparing to what's out there. And I'll end up under most of the time because the number's going to get overinflated because of those trends. And you're right. The odds makers, the bookmakers all want overs, unders, ATS at 50-50.
Yeah, I agree. A total of 50, that's a high number. If you made this number 4 weeks ago, Kenny, it would have been 46, 45,
well,
right?
Before the season started, it might have been 43.
Right. So I side with the under also.
Yeah, and one final footnote as we wrap it up. I mean, you guys were noting this before we started taping this. Griffin's been running the ball a lot more, and if there's a weakness on the Giants' defense, it's their secondary. So
he's only thrown 37 passes the last 2 weeks, 37 passes. Shanahan's gone very conservative.
A little long-winded there, but I think a little between the lines thing, and I think that's the kind of stuff we'll try to get you each week here with the line makers. There are a lot of between-the-line scenarios you try to follow. It's the Skins and the Giants. Should be a good NFC East showdown on Sunday.